Hello guys and welcome back to another episode. So today we're going to talk about Retribution Paladin in PvE. So this is going to be a little guide for you who wants to learn how to play Retribution Paladin. It's going to be about the stats, the rotation and the talents. So the first thing we're going to look on is the stats. So for Retribution Paladin, the most important thing is of course Strange. So if you get the choice between a trinket that has haste or Strange, Strange will be the major one for you. The next trait, or you can say stats that you need after Strange, is Haste. Haste is like the most important thing you have, because all your spells, as you can see on the cooldown, they are all green, except this one here. But all these three here are green. That means the more haste you get, the lower cooldown your spells have. So that means the more damage you can actually deal. So, first of all, Strange, Haste, and after Haste, actually Critical Strike, Mastery, and Vitality, all three of them is the same. It doesn't matter which one you get. The most important thing is Strange, Haste, and then the next three stats doesn't really matter. It's up to you. If you want to have Crit, Vitality, and Mastery, doesn't matter, they all are fine. The only important thing with Retribution Paladin is Strange and Haste. So on every item you have, put Strange and Haste on them, and you should be pretty good on the damage with the simulations. So that's the stats. The next thing is the talents. So the talents also depends on a, you can say, situation. So Righteous Verdict is the best damage talent if you have a single target fight. If you have a fight where you can just stand and use your spells without having to run away, run around, but you can just stand and damage all what you want. Just damage, damage, damage. Then Righteous Verdict is the best one. But if you have a fight like a normal dungeon where you have to run around all the time, Seal is the best one. So if you have to move and you cannot just stand all the time and be 100% sure to actually use your Righteous Verdict, then Seal is the best one. Execution Sentence is not a spell you will use in PvE, so just don't take it. So Righteous Verdict is best on a single target when you have a boss or something you can attack and you're 100% sure you can always use Righteous Verdict. Seal is also very good, but it doesn't do the same damage if it's on a boss fight where you can just spam abilities. But Seal is fine if you have to run around and you're not sure to use your Righteous Verdict all the time. But both of them are really good, but Righteous Verdict wins in a single target fight. The next one down here, Hammer of Wrath, is the best one here. Just over any situation, it's best Hammer of Wrath. Because when you use your Avenging Wrath, your wings that has a 20-second, you can say a cooldown that is on 20 seconds, where you deal damage, damage, healing and critical strike increase by 20. Then you can also spam Hammer of Wrath that deals 5000 damage all the time. It's a half of your Templar Verdict, but it also generates, you can say, Holy Power. So additional to your spells down here, it actually is a new one that helps you damaging. So I know Blade of Justice also deals 5000 damage, but if Hammer of Wrath also deals it. So Night also only deals 4000 because the cooldown went off. But it's a perfect spell for using on execution, so when the boss is low, under 20% health you can use it, or when you have your burst up with Avenging Wrath, you can spam it. Fires of Justice, Blade of Wrath is the same. When you have used both you get the same damage, but Hammer of Wrath is the preferred one in raid. For dungeons, Hammer of Wrath is also perfect on boss, but if you want you can take either Fires of Justice or Blade of Wrath. Both of them are very good talents that is passive, so if you don't like to have the extra spell and just want a passive effect, you can take one of these two. They're both fine and yeah, on the same level. But Hammer of Wrath is the most preferred one if you can handle another spell. The next one here, I would say Blinding Light is the best one because it's going to be you can see you can interrupt a whole group of mobs on one time. So if 5 monsters like in the Underrot is casting shield, you can use Blinding Light and they will all be interrupted. Fist of Justice is also fine, but it only improves your single target stun. But Blinding Light is an additional stun and it also AoE. So Blinding Light will 100% be the perfect choice, but again you will get an extra spell, so if you can handle an extra spell, Blinding Light is the best one. The next row down here, Consecration and Wake of Ashes are the best one. Divine Judgment is not really being used, so don't use that one. Wake of Ashes is probably the best one in raids and for single target damage. but Consecration is perfect in dungeon and cleave bosses or a lot of mobs. So for dungeon, Consecration will probably be the best one for you, but in raids or say boss fights generally, Wake of Ashes is the best one. Wake of Ashes is probably, always the best one. Consecration is just under it, but on multiple mobs it can be really good. The next one here is Unbreakable Spirit. Unbreakable Spirit is my favorite one because it makes the cooldown of Shield of Vengeance lower. So all the damage you get while having Shield of Vengeance active will also deflect it, so that means when it's finished it will explode and deal damage. If some of the mobs or bosses also attack you, that means the shield will also attack them, so it's an extra damage spell that can deal a lot of damage. So with Unbreakable Spirit it actually lowers the cooldown and you can use it more times now and deal nice damage if you know the boss is going to do some kind of damage on you. Cavalier is fine if you want to move more, so if you want to have more charges on your horse. And Eye for an Eye is only good if you know you're going to get a lot of physical damage, which I really doesn't see much for DPS. But Unbreakable Spirit is my favorite one and the one I recommend. For the next row here I only recommend Selfless Healer. I would never take Word of Glory. I know some people say Word of Glory is Ignite for Mythic Plus, but the problem is it's using Holy Power, and Holy Power is the main source for your damage. So I would never destroy my damage. I will take Selfless Healer, that every time you use a Holy Power spell, it reduces, your Holy Power spending ability reduces the cast time of your next Flash of Light and increases its healing by 10, and it stacks up to 4 times. And when it's full stacked, your Flash of Light is actually instant cast and it heals 40% more. So why not? It's a passive one, so I would 100% say Selfless Healer all the time. The next one down here is kind of different. Divine Purpose and Inquisition are both really good. Crusade is not worth it. Divine Purpose and Inquisition are really good. Inquisition is actually the best one and the one that people is recommending. So Inquisition, if you want to have again a extra spell, and in your whole rotation will be changed how you use spell, because it's the most important now is to hold up Inquisition. But if you don't like to have another spell you have to hold up all the time and still deal almost the same damage, Divine Purpose is the one for you. Again, Divine Purpose can actually sometimes deal more damage than Inquisition, but it's very random, and that means sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not good. And Inquisition will always be the same for you all the time. So Inquisition is the one that is recommended, but if you don't want an extra spell, you can check Divine Purpose, and Divine Purpose is so close that it's almost the same. So you can take Divine Purpose if you want. Personally, I will probably play with Divine Purpose because I hate spells where you have to hold them up, and yeah, it will kind of destroy my Holy Power rotation. I know that it's best probably with Inquisition, but Divine Purpose is so close on the damage, so I don't want to destroy my rotation with the Inquisition. So now we should go over and see how the rotation actually is played with this spec. So for the rotation, it's actually quite easy, you could say. For a single target rotation, let's take without additional spells. So let's just take the passives. So we just have a normal rotation, your basic rotation. So for the normal rotation, the basic one, the first thing you would do, what I would do, is cast first Judgment. Now my Judgment is at the target, and I'm ready, and I have 2 stacks of Holy Power. The next thing I would do is use Blade of Justice. Now I have 3 Holy Power, and that means I can cast my Templar Verdict. Also, a cool thing that you really need to understand it, or else you will not deal any damage as Retribution Paladin. Templar Verdict is getting increased damage by Judgment. So when you use Judgment, the next Templar, or the next Holy, you can say the next damage you use from Holy Power, will deal 25% additional damage. So that means when you use Judgment, it's very important in for the next 40 seconds that you use Templar Verdict. If you don't use it, it will kind of waste and your damage rotation will go not very nice. So it's very important to use Templar Verdict while you have the passive on from Judgment. So again, cast Judgment. Now you have Judgment on it, taking 25% increased damage from your next Holy Power spender. Use Blade Justice so you get 3 stacks of Holy Power, and use your Templar Verdict to use the Judgment. Every time Judgment is ready, use it, but only if your judgment passive is not on. So you can see, let's say if the judgment passive is still on and my judgment is ready, don't use it. First use Templar Verdict and then use judgment again. So now you have the passive on again, so it deals more damage. So you can see Templar Verdict. Now I have the situation where I cannot use my judgment, but I have a Templar Verdict ready. Then what I would do is use a Templar Verdict and then use your judgment and then back to the normal rotation. Because if you play the rotation correctly, you can see here that you will get a Templar Verdict before. I mean, it will be ready much more before. So your main thing is cast judgment, put on the passive that deals, next time you use Templar Verdict, it deals 25% more damage. Blade of Justice, and then Templar Verdict. And while Judgment, Blade of Justice, and Templar Verdict is not able to be used, you can use Crusader Strike as a filler, but only use it if you actually miss Holy Power. If you don't miss Holy Power and you're full of some reason, you should not be able, because then you can use Templar Verdict. But Crusader Strike is kind of your filler, and it helps you get Holy Power. But the main thing you should do is Judgment, and when you have the Judgment buff on, use your Templar Verdict, and when you don't have the Judgment buff on, or your Judgment is not ready, use Blade of Justice, Judgment, Templar Verdict. So it's kind of basic. Use Judgment to get your passive on, use Templar Verdict when it's ready and the passive is on, use Blade of Justice to generate Holy Power, and only use Crusader when you don't have anything else to do. It's kind of your filler, you can say. So let's add some talents on it, so it gets more, you can say, hard. So Hammer of Wrath. So Hammer of Wrath is only able to be used when you actually have the target under 20% health, or when Avenging Wrath is active. So now I can use it, as you can see, Hammer of Wrath. It's a perfect spell to use if the boss is far away from you, so now I can use Judgment, Hammer of Wrath, and then also generates Holy Power, so I can actually use my Templar Verdict, and then I can use my Judgment, and again my Hammer. So in that DPS window, it's very nice, it deals a lot of damage, and it's very good. And when the boss goes below 20% health, you have another spell that you can use and get higher on the damage. So you can say you have an execution like a warrior. So let's use Wake of Ashes also. So Wake of Ashes is a perfect spell. It generates 5 Holy Power and it deals 10,000 damage. It's the same as your Templar Verdict. So what I would do in this case here, I would probably use pay attention to this. So first Judgment, then Blade of Justice, out with my Templar Verdict, and then you can see now I have no Holy Power. Then I would use Wake of Ashes, Templar Verdict, Judgment, Templar Verdict. With this simple rotation, you will deal insane burst damage in the start of a fight. Because first, Judgment, Blade of Justice, and Templar Verdict. Then you have kind of the structure of your main. Then you use Wake of Ashes, that will give you 1 free Templar Verdict, and then you use, you can say, Judgment, and again, Templar Verdict. It's insane. So insane. It's very good. So Wake of Ashes is boosting your, you can say, damage here so much. Consecration is, I don't have to show you that, it's just a, Consecration. You create a AoE on the floor, and everyone standing in it gets damage. So that's about that. Let's talk about Incursion. So now, when you actually generate Holy Power, you can use Incursion. So now I can see for the next 40 seconds, my damage increased by 7 and haste by 7. So now I don't have to refresh the spell until 40 seconds, and this means the first thing you do is get Incursion on, and then after that, just follow your normal rotation, and when you can say like, when there's 5 seconds to fall off, then you refresh it again. And well, it's not that bad. It's really good talent. It's the best one I recommend. But again, you just have to keep in mind that you have to kind of hold it up and only use 3 Holy Power on it, because the more Holy Power you use on it, the longer it will stay. So don't use it with 1 or 2, because then it will fall off very fast. But when you use it with 3 stacks, it will be on for 40 seconds. And I mean, now I can use my normal rotation in 40 seconds, and then I have to go back to Incursion again after that. Yeah, I think that's pretty much the rotation, you could say. Yeah, if you play Blood Elf, you can use your Arcane Torrent. It gives you additional holy power. It's kinda OP. So Blood Elf is probably the best paladin for damaging, I would say, because you get a free holy power generation. And remember, if the boss is going to deal a lot of damage on you, use Shield of Vengeance, because when it's finished absorbing, it will explode and deal a lot of damage. Yeah. And of course remember to keep up your buffs on yourself. You don't really have to put them on yourself, because the other buff gives you more health and mana, so I would probably give that to the healer, so the healer doesn't get out of mana. And the absorb, I would probably give that to the tank if the tank needs absorbing. So don't use them on yourself, give them to the tank and healer for helping out. You don't need that, seriously. You have the healer to heal you, so give it to them. A good advice. So thanks you guys for watching, and always enjoying you watching my movies. And if you like the video, press the like button, else comment what you think about it. If you have any bad to say, or if you have any good to say, well, leave down a comment. So thanks you guys for watching, and have a great evening.